Okay, so I'm continuing to work on the interior framing. The weather has finally changed. It was pretty crappy for the whole winter. And I had a lot of stuff on my mind with Heather in long-term care, etc. So I'm just getting started again. Oh, see, what a dummy. What a dummy. I did the wrong side. Okay, well, just out of curiosity, let's see if the holes are lined up right. Okay, I have to go back to the drawing board and I have to look up the Play-Doh method because that hitting with the hammer method doesn't work. Okay, so the people who use Play-Doh just stick it to the plywood and they put it up and it comes off the metal and sticks to the plywood. So in my case, it's sticking to the metal. So it suddenly hit me. Use a little spray and then it won't stick to the metal. Well, that's my plan here. Not too much. There. Oh yeah. That Play-Doh is not going to stick. Of course, it might ruin the Play-Doh, but we shall see. Okay. And I'm going to use I've got a second one here. Here's my pencil. Okay. So. And in case you're not familiar with riv-nuts, they are a threaded insert that goes in a hole in sheet metal, and then you sort of crush it or compress it with a riveting gun so that it locks into place, and now you have a threaded insert to bolt stuff to your vehicle. Okay. That's just to mark where my Play-Doh goes, and the Play-Doh is down here. Should we call it work dough? Plywood very well. Now push the edges down, really smush it in there. Okay, here we go. And I'm just going to do it lightly. I ended up redoing this one to raise the piece of plywood to be flush with the upper edge of that horizontal member. Mark, 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 mark. Okay, so I'm back at it, and this is a few days later. I had to buy some more hardware. So I bought these stainless steel hex 5/16 inch coarse thread 1 1/4 inch bolts. And I got another bag of riv nuts, 5/16 inch riv nuts. And so anyways, of course, the first one looks a little sloppy, but the next one, this one is nice and tidy. I'm gonna make these holes wider, the recesses, put some washers in there as well. And then moving up to the front here, and I realized, well, I have to drill new holes for the riv nuts because the holes that are there are too big. So I used my stepper metal bit, and drilled some holes, and then hit it with the rust paint. Just a spray. I mean, it looks messy, but that doesn't matter. And I ran my shop vac while I was drilling to catch any metal filings, because metal filings will rust eventually. So the fewer metal filings there are in behind, the better. I think I got them all. And that's where we are. So I'll do this one and this one. And, here and here, I think I have to cut. I think I'm going to end up with just 3/4 plywood. I'm not sure. Like I was thinking, maybe I should use 2x6 or 2x8, but I think probably 3/4 plywood is going to do it. But I'll have it, a piece that comes up to about here for the bed mounting. So it'll be 8 or probably 8 inches wide versus these are 2.5. And I'll do the same thing. So, making slow but steady progress. Very slow, very, very slow progress. Anyways, there's no rush with this. Probably don't need all these riv-nuts in here. And that's too many. That's enough. 1, 2, 3 is plenty, really. I've got 4 in there, so okay. It should be longer, I think. Yeah, it should be longer. That should go up to there. Okay. And then got a longer piece here. Up to here. Okay. Yeah, looks good. And mark a riv nut there. Riv nut here. And a riv nut here. Okay, so gotta remember this is the front. And this is the what's called inside. So this is where I recess the holes. I don't think countersunk is the right word for it. So, okay. Actually, I'm going to put the Play-Doh on here, so this will go like this. Footprint side comes this way, so. One. push down the edges of the Play-Doh so it doesn't come loose. Like making a ravioli. See, like a ravioli. And then I give the rib nuts a shot of lubricant so the Play-Doh won't stick. Okay, that goes up there, that goes there, so, okay, push, 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 don't push too hard, and look, perfectly marked nipples, really, and that's where I drill. Cool. Okay, so I drilled my pilot holes from this side through the silly putty, or through the Play-Doh, and then I flipped it over and I used a Forstner bit to cut this circle, and the point being that I can put a washer in there, and then that's a 5/16 inch hole for the bolts. So let's see. This is going to be neat and tidy, and actually this is much better than the first one I did. So, you know, I might redo that first one because I'm a little better at it now, a little more refined. Okay. And this is going to be as solid as can be. And the point behind using rib nuts versus self-tapping screws is that the self-tapping screws can rip out of metal, but rib nuts are much more solid. And the idea is that if you were, God help us, to have a crash and you had cabinets back here, let's say 100 pounds of cabinets, or 200 or 300, I don't know, depending what's in it, that you want all the holding power you can get to keep those cabinets from moving forward. And rib nuts are going to hold up way better than sheet metal screws. Way better. So these are solid as can be. Much better way to do it. I mean, sheet metal screws are probably going to work fine, and you're probably not going to have an accident, but it's good to know that stuff is in here solid. These are probably a little easier to remove too if you wanted to remove them for some reason. I imagine they stiffen up the van a little bit too. Maybe make it quieter or whatever. There, I mean that is, whew, that's basically structural. So this should be flat now. Yeah. Yeah, see this the side of the van, the cabinets and stuff are gonna bolt on here. And I used 3/4 inch plywood here to clear this vertical column, and it does clear by, 2 millimeters. So that's fantastic. Using 1/2 inch, if I'd used 1/2 inch here, it would not have cleared this vertical, but with 3/4 inch, it clears it. And up here, this is going to have to be like pieces of 2x6 in here in order to clear these guys. So they're chunks of 2x6. That's what everyone else is using. And I guess I'll have to drill holes for riv nuts up there as well. So anyways, that's how we're doing this. I'm going to do that next. And then I'll think about the wider pieces. I've got enough plywood to do either a 6 or 8 inch high piece to go across for my bed. So that's it for now.